This is Amy Chan from CakeDecoratingSchool.com, and if you like cake decorating, you're in the right place. Welcome to our flowers series. In this video, we're going to be piping buttercream quince flowers. It's broken down into steps, so you can skip ahead, rewind, and rewatch as desired. We're going to make two colors for our quince blossoms. We're using American style buttercream for both. You can use whatever you like. We are going to start off with a nice kind of coral tone, and I've got some buttercream in my bowl, and we're using the following liquid gel colors: neon bright pink, sunset orange, lemon yellow, and finally, royal blue. I'm going to start with the neon bright pink and the sunset orange. I'm just going to do a drop of pink and then probably two of my orange. I want a nice kind of intense color. I want it to really have a brightness to it. And I want it to be kind of a nice corally shade. So I'm going to go heavier on my orange than my pink. Give it a mix and see how we like it. I want it to be a nice kind of like peachy vibe. So the pink can be overpowering, so I like to start with less. It's reading a bit more orange right now. So I'm just gonna add more pink. And hopefully that should take us a little towards an in-between shade. I think that's gonna be lovely. I think we'll do maybe one more drop of pink and we should be there. Let's just add them one at a time until I get a nice balance between the two. And I think that's lovely. It's a nice kind of pink tone, orange color. It's kind of an in-between shade. It makes you kind of question, it's an orange, sort of peach, and that's exactly where we want to be. So we're going to make our second color, and this is going to be for our centers. And it's going to be kind of an in-between shade. We want it to be somewhere in between green and yellow. And I'm going to start with my lemon yellow. I've got a little bit out on the lid along with that royal blue. And I'm just going to do a few specks. And just make a nice little yellow for myself. Get that mixed around. This nice shade that's going to look pretty next to that beautiful kind of peachy color that we've got. And I'm just going to take a little bit over to one side and I'm going to add in just a tiny, tiny touch of that blue. So just little tiniest speck I can get going there and just blend that right over there on the side of the bowl. And you can see it's got a bit more of a greenish vibe than that. And I'm just going to take the two and loosely mix them together. So I don't want to blend it completely. I want it to be kind of a varied shade. And that's going to look really nice on our flowers and hopefully give us a nice kind of changeable effect on those little stamens we're going to do in the middle. And I'm just going to load it into my bag just like that. For this flower, we're going to use two 12-inch disposable decorating bags. You can use reusable ones if you like, and we have them fitted directly with the tips. Test.
Action.
For our peach color, we're using a 104 tip. For our yellow, we're using a number 1. Now, let's review the techniques we're going to use for our little quince blossoms. The first thing that we're going to do is pipe a little support ring. We're going to use our 104 tip to do that, and we're going to start with the bag kind of upright, but we're just going to tilt it a little bit. Basically, you want that opening to be parallel to the surface, and we're just going to squeeze and hold while we spin our nail. And that's going to give us a nice little ring of frosting to help support our petals and give them a little bit of curve. As far as petals go, we're going to make some fans with our 104 tip. We're going to hold the bag at 45 degrees. The back end is going to be at 3 o'clock. And then we're going to rotate the skinny end up a bit. And we're going to need to do this because, especially for the first row, we're going to be piping over the support ring that we made. So we need to be able to glide over it and then come back. and we're going to rock the nail to help us do that. But the basic shape is just like a regular fan where we start, we go out, make a nice broad petal, and pull back. And we're not going to worry about getting gaps in the middle, especially for the bigger ones that we're going to put down first, because we're going to cover them up with other petals. So if you have those holes, don't worry about it. You're making some great petals. We're also going to make some upright fans, and for this, we're just going to change the position of the back end of the bag. And we're not really going to do them here, but they will kind of work out. So you can see they kind of stick up because of the angle of the tip and because of where the back end of the bag is going. But it's the same kind of basic shape. They're going to just be a little bit shorter because we're going to fit them in a smaller area, and they're going to be sticking upright instead of curving over our ring. And finally, we're going to make some cupped petals. And we're going to go 45 degrees, and you really want the back end of the bag facing towards you. So think like 6 o'clock. And for these, we're going to do more teardrop shaped. So they're going to be more heavily cupped. And we're going to finish our flowers with some stamens. We're going to do some short and straight and some longer and curved. And you just want to do the same basic thing above the surface, squeeze a dot, let it connect, and then pull up straight. So we'll do some little short straight ones in the middle. And then we're going to use the curve of the petals we've created to make some curved ones that are going to kind of flop over towards the middle. And if you get too long, they might flop over completely. But the idea is just to give them a nice gentle curve so they kind of curl over the ones in the middle. Now let's review how we combine all of our techniques to make these lovely little quince flowers. We're going to start out with our 104 tip. We're going to hold it so that the tip opening is parallel to the surface, and we're going to pipe 2 rings right on top of each other. So a little double ring there to give us some support. Also helps connect everything and keep it nice and secure. Then we're going to pipe 5 of our fan petals going over that ring. So we're going to set ourselves up so we can glide over the ring and make a nice edge there. And we want them to be right next to each other, even overlapping a little bit. But we're looking to get 5 all the way around, and that should leave a nice void there in the center. We're then going to do 5 smaller fan petals that are upright. So we're going to just change the angle of the back of the bag. And we're going to pipe those just kind of slightly offset to the left. So for each of your larger fans, you're going to go a little to the left of it, pipe a smaller one upright. And that's going to make it so the petals are a little offset from each other, give it a little nice variation and a very beautiful look. We're then going to change the back angle of the bag even more and do some little cupped petals that are more like a teardrop shape than a fan. And really, if you get 3 to 5 in there, that's going to be perfect. We're looking more so to fill up the center a little bit and make a nice tight closed area in there for our stamens than anything else. And I like to do those kind of to the right of those smaller upright fans. And that way it really fills in that area, gives the petals a little bit of a different look, kind of like they're unfurling and folding open as this flower blooms. Then we're going to go in for our centers. I'm going to do some little short straight stamens in the middle, and then I'm going to go around the outside edge and pull the curved ones. And because we have all those petals there supporting them, they should hold up nicely and flop over gently towards the center without looking too messy or being unsupported. And that will finish off our beautiful quince blossoms, which make a lovely addition to any kind of cake for, say, spring or summer, anything that's kind of fruit themed. They have a beautiful, wonderful, delicate look to them. Let's get started making our lovely little quince blossoms. I've got my 2-inch nail. I have it fitted with a 5 segment or 5-part template just to help me with my spacing. And I've stuck a little piece of parchment paper on there just using a little extra buttercream. I'm going to line my bag up. So I want that opening parallel to the surface, so I'm not quite straight up and down, just lean it a little over to the side. And you can see to start with, I've just got it hovering over the middle. And we want to move it so it's about halfway between the middle and the outside edge. That way, when we squeeze our ring, we get a nice little border to pipe over, and our petals will still be resting on our nail. So I went once, and then twice. So a little double ring just to give us a little height to work with. Now let's set our bag up for our petals. I want the back of the bag towards 3 o'clock. It's at a 45-degree angle, and you'll notice the opening of the tip is kind of pointing up, right? It's not straight up, it's kind of split, and that allows us to just nest right on the inside of this ring. And we're gonna pipe our fan, and as we do so, we're gonna rock the nail towards us as we pipe out, and then back to pull the petal back over it. And that little rocking motion is going to allow us to put our petals on and get them so that they lay over our ring for us, right? Beautiful. And so as we do this, I'm going to pipe 5, so 1 for each of those little segments. And if they overlap each other or connect a little bit, that's just fine. So you just want to go over the nail, rock as much as you need to work into that space. And this allows those petals to overhang and gives them a nice, you can see, beautiful shape to them, but they're also supported, so I don't have to worry about them collapsing or deflating. And you can see that leaves us a nice hole there in the middle. Now we're going to pipe our upright fans. These are going to be a little smaller than the ones that we did previously. And you can see all I've really done with my bag is change the orientation so that instead of being out to the side, the back end is pointing towards my right shoulder. If you're a lefty, just towards your left shoulder. And we're going to start, instead of starting right on top of a petal we've already done, just slightly to the left of it. So we want to just make, right, petals that stand up. So you can see it's a nice little upright petal. So instead of curving over the ring, it's standing straight up. And we're just giving it a smaller fan shape. And we should be able to get 4 to 5 in there. So if they don't line up perfectly with your other petals in terms of number, that's fine. Just get whatever is comfortable for you to get in there. And you can see that putting these on not only gives it a nice shape where now parts of the flower are flopping over and some of them are going straight up, it also covers up the gaps that we had in our larger fan petal bases. Now we're going to pipe about 3 or 4 cupped petals. It's whatever we can fit in here without completely closing up the center. And basically all we need to do for that is pull the back end of the bag from our right shoulder to center. So it's going to be kind of pointing towards my chest, and I'm just going to draw a little teardrop shape. So I might not get 4 in there, it might only be 3, and that's just fine. And that's just to kind of close in that area and give it a little quick third layer. If you had a bigger hole, you might have room for 4, and that's fine too. But you can see it's going to help support those upright petals from the inside by giving them something else to stick to and making that base a little fatter, and it's also going to close up that area in the middle. Now let's go in and do our centers and finish our flowers. I'm going to start straight up and down with my number 1 tip and pipe a few short stamens. So just one in the middle, and then go around them and make a nice little tight grouping. Once you're done with that, I'm going to go around the outside edge and pull up the petal a little bit and just kind of have them supported by those petals. And I'm going to flick the tip of the bag towards the center every time I do it. So every time I pull out, I'm going to pull towards the middle. And this is going to give the look like they're curved and flopping over towards the center. And it's going to give us a nice little frilly look where we have a tight grouping of stamens that kind of encloses and folds over in on itself, and it gives the flowers a little extra depth and a little extra shadow there in the middle. And there we have a beautiful quince blossom that would make a great addition to any summer or spring cake arrangement that you're going to do with flowers. If you enjoyed this flower lesson, we hope you check out some of the other great flower tutorials in our flower series. Maybe something big, bold, and beautiful like our lovely camellia flowers. And if you like the little templates we have and you'd want to get those, you can always get them by signing up for our email list on our website. And we also have a full video on how to use those and flower nails, and also pipe a great basic 5-petal flower that'll help you get started on your flower piping journey. And you can watch that video on our channel as well. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like more about the cake decorating materials and equipment we use, or just some inspirational videos about cake decorating itself, you can follow us on Insta or YouTube at Cake Decorating School. If you'd like to know more about yearly membership and what it entails, you can go to www.cakedecoratingschool.com for more information. And if you're interested in these products, you can check the links in the description.